Now let's go to Sacred Heart Church on the U.S.-Mexico border, McCallen, Texas, and Mariana.
Holy Father, this church, just 5 miles from the border with Mexico, has been a temporary refuge for tens of thousands of undocumented immigrants. Immigrants like Ricardo, who I want to introduce to you today. Ricardo, come on up here. Ricardo has been living in Texas since he was 4 years old, and today he wants to tell you his story.
Good morning, Father. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's been my childhood dream to meet you one day. I came to the United States when I was 4 years old. My father believed that there was no future for me in Mexico. He believed that I needed something better in life. He brought me and my mom at the age of 4. I did all my school here, all my friends, everyone, all my family was left in my home country, so I had to start from zero. Going to school here in the United States was fairly easy till after middle school. Coming out of middle school, I didn't really understand what it was to be an immigrant child. I didn't understand that because I was born on the other side of a border, that life would be different for me. At the age of 16, 17, my dad had an accident. He almost lost his leg and wasn't able to work. That happening impacted my life in a very deep way. I had to become the breadwinner of the family. I had to be the person that supported our family. Having to support a family of 6 and having 4 younger brothers look up to you really made it hard on me. That being said, I never lost faith. I never lost the strength that my father and my mother gave me. I made sure that motivated me to keep doing my best. When it came to graduate high school and go to college, it seemed like everything was falling into place. I was going to my dream college. I was going to have the future that I thought about and that I dreamed about. When it got time to head out to college, they informed me that I wasn't able to attend the university of my dreams because I wasn't a United States citizen. That being said, my father still told me, you know, Ricardo, I want you to go to your school. I want you to have that education that I didn't have. I ended up going to a community college, started working full-time, and started supporting my family. I have a question for you, Father. It's with all these problems in the world, the poverty, our education system, and immigration itself, what do you feel is the solution to this problem? Thank you.
Evidentemente que
Clearly,
escuchando tu historia
listening to your story,
te puedo decir que
I can tell you
la
that
vida te hizo padre antes de tiempo.
life made you a father before your time because you had to support your family from a very young age while your father was ill. But you knew how to do it because you had a father who had the courage to initiate you along that path of work and struggle, and the courage afterward to put you in school with great sacrifice.
There are many injustices in this life. And as a believer, as a Christian, the first one to suffer those, I'm telling you, who embodies them all in himself, was Jesus. Jesus was born on the street. He was born as a homeless person. His mother had nowhere to give birth to him.
Siempre mirar la figura de
Always look to the figure of Jesus.
Vos me preguntás sobre el
You
cómo.
ask me about the how.
Mirando
In
la
looking to the
figura de
figure of
Jesús,
Jesus,
damos un paso más.
we take one more step forward.
Dios a veces nos
God
habla con
sometimes
palabras,
speaks to us with words,
como en la Biblia, nos
as He
dice
tells
su
us in the
palabra.
Bible, His Word.
Dios a veces
God sometimes
nos habla
speaks to
con
us
gestos
through
a través de la
gestures
historia,
throughout
con las
history in
situaciones,
various situations.
y Dios
And
a
God
veces, muchas veces,
sometimes, many
nos
times,
habla con su
speaks to
silencio.
us through His silence.
Cuando yo
When
veo
I see
lo que vos me preguntás,
the
la
question you
cantidad de
ask me,
gente
the number of
que
people
pasa hambre,
who experience
que no
hunger,
tiene para
who don't have the
crecer,
means to
que no
grow,
tiene para salud,
who don't have the means to tend to
que
their health,
muere
who die as
niño, que no tiene
children,
para la
who can't
educación,
afford an
la
education,
cantidad de gente que
the
no
number
tiene
of
casa,
people who have no
la cantidad
home,
de gente
the
que hoy
number of
día lo
people,
estamos
we see
viendo,
it now, today,
migran de su
who
país
emigrate
buscando
from their
futuros
country
mejor
looking for a
y
better
mueren,
future,
tantos
and so
mueren
many of
durante
them
el
die
camino.
along the way.
Yo miro a Jesús en la
I
cruz
see Jesus on the cross,
y descubro el
and I
silencio
discover
de Dios.
God's
El primer
silence.
silencio
The
de
first
Dios
silence
está en la
of
cruz
God
de Jesús.
is on Jesus' cross.
La injusticia más
The
grande
greatest
de la historia,
injustice in history,
y Dios callaba.
and God stayed silent.
Dicho esto,
Having said this,
voy a ser
I'm going to
concreto
be
en la
concrete
respuesta a otros
and
niveles,
answer on
pero no
another
te
level.
olvides
But don't forget
de que Dios nos
that
habla con
God
palabras,
speaks to us through
con
words,
gestos,
through
con
gestures,
silencio.
and through
Y lo
silence.
que vos me preguntás
And what you ask of
solamente
me
se
can
comprende
only be
en el
understood
silencio de Dios.
in God's
Y
silence.
el silencio de Dios
And God's
solamente lo
silence
entendemos
we only
mirando la
understand when we look at the cross.
¿Qué hacer?
What to
El
do?
mundo tiene que tomar
The
más
world has to
conciencia
have greater consciousness
que la
of the fact
explotación
that
de
exploitation
uno con
of
otro
one another
no es un camino.
is not the path.
Todos estamos creados para la
We are
amistad
all created
social.
for friendship in society.
Todos tenemos responsabilidad
All of us
sobre
bear
todos.
responsibility for everyone
Ninguno
else.
puede decir mi
No
responsabilidad
one
llega
can
hasta
say,
aquí.
this is as far as my responsibility
Todos
goes.
somos responsables de todo.
We are all responsible
Y
for
ayudarnos de la
everyone
manera que cada uno
to
puede.
help each other out as best we can.
Amistad social.
Friendship
Para eso nos creó
in
Dios.
society. That's what
Pero hay
God
una
created
palabra
us
muy
for.
fea
But there's a very ugly
que
word
también
that
aparece en la primera
also
página de la
appears
Biblia.
on the first page of the
Dios le
Bible.
dice
God
al
says
demonio,
to the
al padre de
devil,
la mentira,
to
a
the
la
father
serpiente,
of the
pondré
lie, to the serpent,
enemistad
I will
entre
create
ti y la mujer.
enmity
Y
between
la
you
palabra
and the
enemistad
woman. And the
fue
word
creciendo a lo
enmity
largo de la historia.
grew over
Un
time.
poquito después de
And
eso,
a short time after
la
that,
primera enemistad
the
entre
first
hermanos.
enmity
Caín
between
mata a
brothers.
Abel.
Cain slays
primera
Abel.
injusticia.
The first injustice.
Y de ahí en más,
And
guerras,
after
las
that,
destrucciones.
war, destruction.
De ahí en más, el
After
odio.
that, hatred.
Hablando en términos futbolísticos, yo te
Speaking
diría
in
que
soccer
el
terms, I
partido
would
se
say
juega
to
entre
you that the
amistad
game
social
is
y
played
enemistad
between
social.
friendship in society and enmity in
Y
society.
la opción la tiene que hacer cada uno en el
And
corazón.
each one has to make a
Y
choice in
nosotros
his or her heart.
ayudar
And we have to
a
help
hacer esa
that
opción
choice
en el corazón.
to be made in the heart.
La huida a
Escaping
través de
it
las adicciones,
through
o de
addiction,
la violencia,
through
no ayuda.
violence does not help.
Solamente la cercanía.
Only
Y dar
closeness
de mí lo que yo puedo.
and giving of
Como
myself
vos
all that I
diste
have to
todo
give,
lo
the
que
way you
podías
gave everything you
cuando de
could as a
chico
boy
mantuviste a tu
when
familia.
you supported your family.
No te olvides eso. Amistad
Don't forget that.
social.
Friendship in society,
Contra la propuesta
as opposed to the
del mundo,
proposal
que es
of the world,
enemistad social.
which is enmity in
Arreglate vos
society.
y que el otro se arregle solo.
You take care of yourself and let the other
Ese no es
person
el
take
plan.
care of themselves. That is not God's
Sí, eso es
plan.
lo que se me ocurre decirte.
That's what I can
Además,
think of to say to you,
expresarte mi
and
admiración.
also to express my admiration
La vida
for
te
you.
hizo padre muy
Life turned you into a father before your time. So when you actually become a father and you have your own children, keep educating them and bring them along the path that you learned from your father. Thank you.
Gracias, Padre.
Thank you, Holy Father. Now, Holy Father, as you may know, this church where I'm standing right now turned its parish hall into a welcome center for more than 20,000 immigrants from Latin America. That effort was spearheaded by Sister Norma Pimentel, seated here, whose work I want to acknowledge today. But also seated here with me today are several mothers and their children who just crossed into the United States. And I want to tell you some of their stories. First, I want you to meet Vilma. Come here, Vilma. Vilma came from El Salvador, Holy Father, and she was apprehended for crossing the border illegally. She now has to wear this electronic ankle bracelet that you can see here, put by the Border Patrol to keep her from fleeing. And she says she came here seeking a better life for her small son, Ernesto. Vilma, tell the Holy Father about your son's condition. Cuéntale al Santo Padre sobre la condición del pequeño Ernesto.
Pues mi niño tiene un problema de
Well, my
nació.
son has had a problem
Me nació
since
con sus
birth.
ojitos
He
así,
was born with his eyes like
tiene
this.
problemas congénitos.
He has
Tiene
a
sus
congenital
ojitos,
condition. He
como
has
ven,
cataracts in his
él no
eyes.
puede ver bien
He
con sus
can't
dos
see well
ojitos.
with his eyes.
Vilma, ¿le quieres pedir una bendición al Santo Padre?
Sí, por favor. Pídele
Yes,
su santa
please.
bendición a mi
Would you
niño
give
para
my
que él
son your holy
pueda
blessing
ser
so that
sanado de
his
sus
eyes could be
ojitos?
cured?
Lo bendigo de todo corazón.
Bless him with all my heart.
Thank you, Holy Father. Gracias, Vilma. Gracias, Ernestico. And finally, Holy Father, I want you to meet
Ahora
Wendy.
quisiera decir una
Wendy, come
palabra.
here.
I would like to say one word.
Había allí una hermana, una religiosa.
There was a sister there from a religious order. I want to see her.
Hermana Norma.
Estaba escondida entre la
She
gente.
was hidden there among all the people.
Hermana,
Sister, sister, I want to thank you.
yo quiero agradecer
And through
en su
you,
persona
I want to
a
thank
todas las
all
religiosas de
the
los
sisters
Estados
of
Unidos.
religious orders in the U.S.
El trabajo que
for
las
the work
religiosas
that you
han hecho y hacen
have
en
done
los
and that you
Estados
do in the
Unidos
United
es
States.
grandioso.
It's great.
La felicito.
I
Sean
congratulate you.
valientes.
Be
Vayan
courageous.
adelante.
Move forward.
En primera línea,
Take
siempre.
the lead.
Les
Always.
digo una cosa
I'll tell you
más.
one other thing.
Queda feo
Is it
que lo diga un
inappropriate for the
papa?
Pope
No
to
sé.
say this? I
Las
love you
quiero
all very
mucho.
much.
Gracias, Santo Padre. Thank you, Holy Father. Finally, I want to introduce you to Wendy. Wendy is 11 years old, and she just made a 26-day journey with her mother, Enes, from El Salvador. She wants to tell you a little bit about what she had to go through. Cuéntale al Santo Padre lo que viviste.
Nosotros vinimos
We came from El Salvador with my mom
porque estaba muy peligroso.
because it was too dangerous with the gangs.
Y en el camino, Wendy, ¿qué viviste?
Hemos aguantado hambre,
We were starving,
dormíamos en monte con mi
We slept in
mami.
the mountains with my mom.
A mi mamá la estaban amenazando.
They were threatening my mom
Y yo en la pasada del río
and passing through the river.
casi me ahogo porque la bolsa se quería dar vuelta.
I almost drowned because the bag almost flipped over.
Pero ya llegaste. But she's here now, Holy Father, and she, even after everything she went through, she made a drawing for you. Muéstrale al Santo Padre lo que le hiciste, Wendy, lo que le dibujaste. Cuéntale qué hay en tu dibujo.
Hice un corazón.
It's a heart, and I also drew you, my mom, and me.
Hice un sol
I drew a sun, clouds.
y puse te quiero, papá.
I love you, Pope.
Thank you, Wendy.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Holy Father, and on behalf of everyone here in la Iglesia del Sagrado Corazón in McCallen, Texas, thank you for addressing us today. Muchas gracias.
Gracias por haberse dirigido a nosotros hoy.
The bravery inside that church on the Mexican border, and they waited so long to see if they would get the opportunity to communicate with the Pope, and now they have. Thank you to everyone there at Sacred Heart Church.